Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Kiorkof, and welcome to our Week 13 live stream. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the intro music as per usual. Welcome to the circus that we call Week 13. Again, we're going to be trying to help you guys out as much as we possibly can with start or sit questions in order to make sure that your lineups are ready for today's matchups. Of course, we're 2 hours away from the NFL kickoff and the slate of games that are quite interesting. Nonetheless, there are a couple injuries that we have to talk about. Late last night, there was a conversation and or the potential of Jalen Hurts missing today. My anticipation is that he's going to miss. Okay, the players on screen are ranked in the assumption that he is missing. In fact, I think the receiving pieces of this offense are actually better for the fact that Gardner Minshew will be at quarterback. Nonetheless, outside of that, I also anticipate Darrell Henderson to most likely not play. The last report that I read was in regards to the context of the team not being optimistic that he is going to play, while on the other hand, in the Rams organization, Odell Beckham Jr. should be playing today against the Jacksonville Jaguars, despite the hip injury that kept him limited all week. Either way, just want to go ahead and remind you guys, for those of you who are here, be sure to click the like button down below. Certainly does help this channel out a lot. Though it may seem insignificant, it certainly helps grow the channel, suggest it to other people. It gets the YouTube algorithm going and helps us continue to grow every single day. So I do appreciate if you go ahead and click that button. Also, everything that is currently on screen is updated as to the last, 10 minutes. I went ahead, created this graphic with my updated running back, wide receiver, quarterback, and tight end rankings for a half PPR scoring format, again, and a 4-point per passing touchdown format. Again, so if you are looking to figure out where I would play a specific running back in comparison to other running backs, then of course look on the screen, the very left. You'll go ahead and see my current rankings at the position. This current rankings list does not include anybody from the Thursday game. So there are players that you may have not seen from our Tuesday rankings video that may currently be on the list in order to give you some more context as to who I prefer in this weekend's matchups. Now that that's all settled, welcome. Thank you guys for, coming by on another beautiful Sunday morning. Listen, anytime there's football on a Sunday, it's a great morning. We're going to have this until probably, the second week of February, where we'll of course get the Super Bowl, and then we'll have to recalibrate and get ready for the next season. But nonetheless, do appreciate you guys. Let's get into this, shall we? All right. Let's see what kind of questions were sent in. Just want to go ahead and reiterate, for those of you who sent in messages or are going to send in a future message in order to jump the line, because I'm, of course, trying to get through all the donations and get into the chat. But if I can't get past all the donations, because there are a lot of them, be sure to make sure you send in your scoring format along with your questions, so I have the idea as to where I am ranking said players. That should be it. Pretty much good to go. Let's get into this, shall we? Here we go. With our first question of the day. Let's see here. All right, Devin sends in a question. Says, Devonta Smith, Darnell Mooney, James Robinson, T. Higgins, I need one in a full PPR. Typically, conventional wisdom would say James Robinson's the play there. But honestly, I'm thinking Darnell Mooney is probably my guy. With Allen Robinson out again this week, and of course, we have a scenario in which Marquise Goodwin is out in that offense. It seems like Darnell Mooney is most likely in line for another week of double-digit targets. He's come off of back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. He's just scoring an insane amount of fantasy points, and in a full PPR, being such a threat that he is, and the fact that James Robinson has been dealing with a little bit of a heel injury, I'd go with Mooney there as your number one start. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, Jimmy's in the clouds. Sends in a question. Says flex, Montgomery, Michelle, or Mooney, full PPR. Same context or idea. Michelle is currently one spot ahead of James Robinson in a half PPR, as you can see on screen, kind of filling in for the Darrell Henderson kind of role this week as the starting running back of the Los Angeles Rams. If I was to pick Sony Michel or Darnell Mooney in a full PPR scoring format, I think it's fair to say that I'd probably roll with the running back in this regard. But okay, I have to check one thing really quickly. Let me see what the weather looks like in that side of the... I just want to see if it's really that bad, because I heard someone say that no, it's not that bad. It's just overcast. Yeah, I play Darnell Mooney there. As much as I typically want to play running backs, I think Mooney's upside, because of the volume of targets, just leads to, like, if half of the balls are just a little bit more accurate going in his direction, and instead of catching the ball maybe 5 to 6 times this week, he catches it 7, 8 times. I mean, the amount of potential upside he has, as we know, is in that 20 plus range. So Darnell Mooney's my suggestion there as well. Thank you very much, Jimmy. Ray C sends in a fist bump. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see here. True Gentleman for you says Patterson, Jamal Williams, Javonte Williams, full PPR. All right, so if we're answering that question first and foremost, in a full PPR, it would go Cordero Patterson, Javonte Williams, Jamal Williams in that exact order. Jamal Williams would jump a little bit in my overall rankings, but I don't think Javonte would be able to surpass Patterson in that regard because, again, he is that entire Atlanta offense. So, again, Patterson, Javonte, Jamal. Thank you. As for your second question, Vikings defense or Kansas City defense, I would play the Vikings defense this week against the Detroit Lions. Anytime you have an opportunity to take on Detroit with your respective defense, you should probably go ahead and take advantage of that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, Blood Sweating. Thanks. Says, thank you for all you do. I must win this week. Who do I not play? We have Javonte Williams, Madison, Gibson, or Mitchell. First and foremost, thank you for the generous donation. If I am not playing one of these 4 respective running backs, which of course, like you mentioned, you want to play them all. That is, natural because they are all great options this week. I am playing Madison, Gibson, and Mitchell. These are 3 of my top 6 running backs this week. Javonte Williams is in that top 12 conversation based on the fact that, of course, Melvin Gordon is injured and both of the starting tackles for the Denver Broncos are back this week. They get Garrett Bowles back, Bobby Massey back. Their offensive line is going to certainly be moving defenders, but nonetheless, I still think that Madison, Gibson, and Mitchell present so much higher floors and upside weeks based on their matchups, based on the opportunities that they're getting in their respective backfields. By the end of this week, we may see, the breakout week of Javonte Williams, but I certainly think that the other 3 options are certainly safer and have just as much upside. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, bud. All right, let's see here. Matthew 1031 says, good morning, sir. Good morning to you guys as well. We have a question in regards to PPR, Hawkinson versus Freiermuth. I'm going to play Fryer there. Again, he's just been far too good with Big Ben under center, regardless of the matchup this week. Again, it's Baltimore. They've given up their fair share of points to tight ends. I'm for sure running them out there. As for your follow-up question, start Murray or Cousins. I'm starting Kyler Murray. I don't mind the idea of starting Kirk Cousins. I think he's a fine play. If you get 250 yards, 2 touchdowns out of him in a decent 16 to 18 point week, I'm happy by that. But I think Kyler Murray, the rushing ability, the fact that he'll have DeAndre Hopkins out there, the offense is going to be, firing at all cylinders. I think it's a pretty good week to start Kyler Murray, especially against a defense like Chicago that is missing so many pieces and in their secondary has been struggling. Worried about the weather and the injury of Murray. Yeah, I mean, look, if we were to be okay, so here's the context that I'll give you. I won't be worried about Kyler Murray's injury as long as the organization is not worried. If they're playing him, they are pretty much giving us the thumbs up in which, yes, Kyler is healthy and ready to go. They would not play him. They have a 9-2 record. No one is going to catch them in that regard, and they could very easily win even without him at the starting quarterback position. So I'm not going to worry about it. And the weather, it said overcast. I'm looking at it right now. If I go into the details in Chicago, it says, let's see, what is the possibility? Okay, so the probability of rain in the, so it says probability of rain in the second half is extremely higher than it is in the first. In the first half, it's like not even 30% yet. It's sitting at a 23% potential of rain. Second half, it gets to the 50 range. Again, that's something that we'll have to wait and see how bad it is. But either way, I mean, I think this man will be able to dice him up regardless of how that weather looks in Chicago. Thank you. Grant sends in a question, says, Boston Scott or Devontae Parker in the flex? So first and foremost, if we're going in a half PPR between Boston Scott and Devontae Parker, I play Boston Scott. I think despite all of the questions regarding his health, I think he was dealing with an illness earlier this week. He is going to play. And if he's going to, especially when they don't have Jalen Hurts under center, I think they're going to want to, of course, lean on the running game, which they will with Boston Scott. So I'd go there first and foremost. Follow-up question, Dawson Knox or Kyle Pitts at tight end? I'd go Kyle Pitts. I think the Kyle Pitts matchup is good enough to the point where you don't have to start Dawson Knox against the Bill Belichick's defense. Again, it is, in my opinion, far too... it just worries me too much, and I don't really want to deal with that. I'd rather go with Kyle Pitts, who currently is the number 3 tight end in terms of receiving yards this season. If this man had a couple more touchdowns here and there, he would very easily be in that top 5 overall conversation every week. And hopefully maybe he can catch a touchdown this week. But I think the matchup and the yardage is certainly in his favor. All right. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Moving on. Cinco2X says Sony or CEH if Henderson is out. As you guys can see on screen, I'll go ahead and reiterate just so we're all on the same page. If you guys could click the like button down below. Check out Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Andrew. Link is down in the description. Again, everything on screen is updated rankings as of this morning. So Sony Michel is my number 12 overall running back going into this week. So do with that as you will. I do not expect Darrell Henderson to play. And even if he is technically active, it may be a scenario similar to the way that Aaron Jones was active last week, where he did absolutely nothing because he was limited to a capacity. But either way, I do prefer Sony Michel over Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week. Cinco, thank you. Alif sends in a question, says Hendo not in, PPR, start Waddle, Gaskin, or Michel? That's a really good question. Do I want to start? Yeah, I'd start Waddle there. Because I'm thinking of Waddle probably catching the ball 7 to 8 times for 60, 70 yards. It could very easily get himself 13, 14 points with very little, I guess, tilt in one way or the other. If he adds a touchdown on top of it, automatically becomes a 20-point play. I think it's just safe. You can roll with Waddle. The amount of receptions he's gotten as of late just kind of gotten out of hand. That Giants defense is going to have their hands full as they've given up a bunch of points to slot wide receivers this season. Waddle's a significantly higher overall ranking in my mind. Not significantly, but at least he jumps up a couple spots in my mind in a full PPR in comparison to a half. Thank you, Alif. Joey sends in a question. Says Javonte Williams, Waddle, Saquon, full PPR. Of that group, I don't want to start Saquon. It's between Javonte Williams and it's between Waddle. And I think I want to play Javonte Williams, right? Because I want to just, try to get the upside 20-point play. But I think you have just as much of a potential in doing so with Waddle. So you're safe if you want to play Waddle there. Do I want to play the running back? If he catches the ball 4 to 5 times today, is able to get himself 100 all-purpose yards, 14 points. If he scores a touchdown, he's in a good spot. I think we just go, I think we just go Waddle because I honestly think he just has a higher floor. That floor of production's there. This is the tough part. It's like the splitting of the hairs of such good players or good opportunities. Yeah, I'd say Waddle right now. Let's hear. Ryan D says drop 1, Fant, Goddard, Thomas for the rest of the season. Okay, we have to drop 1 out of this group. Fant, Goddard, or Logan Thomas. I would probably drop Logan Thomas. I mean, he's probably just as good as these guys, but if I have to pick one, it's the one that doesn't have the injury concerns, which currently would be Fant and Goddard. So I'm keeping those two and dropping Logan Thomas. Thank you. S. Huss says, trade Elijah Mitchell for Swift and Jamal Williams. 9-3 PPR. I don't know what Swift's status is. Swift is probably not coming back next week either. There's a potential he may not play in week 15. I would keep Elijah Mitchell. I don't know why you would trade him. He's just far too good of a prospect to be giving up right now. Thank you. Paul sends in a question. It says, full PPR, Logan Thomas or Dallas Goedert? I'd play Dallas Goedert today. And then Jamal Williams or Sony Michel. I'd play Sony Michel. Thank you very much, Paul. Let's see here. Where are we at? Where did the question go? Okay, here it is. Jack or Jackal EXM says, sit 1, half PPR, Javonte, Cordero Patterson, Adam Thielen, Antonio Gibson, Alexander Madison. If I'm sitting 1 out of that group in a half PPR scoring format, I'm sitting Adam Thielen. So that would basically give you the idea, Jack, in which I'm playing Javonte, Cordero Patterson, Antonio Gibson, and Alexander Madison all over Thielen. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Logan sends in a question. Says choose 3. Myles Gaskin, Miles Sanders, Saquon Barkley, Elijah Mitchell. You're the best. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Myles Gaskin, Miles Sanders, Saquon Barkley, Elijah Mitchell. If I'm choosing 3, Elijah Mitchell is automatic. Myles Gaskin is second. It's between Saquon and Miles Sanders third. What scoring format is it again? Scoring format wasn't mentioned, so we'll go ahead and we'll assume it's a half. Even in a full PPR, I'd probably still go Saquon there. So we go Saquon, Elijah Mitchell, Myles Gaskin. That's my 3 there. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Really quickly, just got to go there. Okay. So the next question is sent in from, where is it? We got to that question. Perfect. All right. Bob sends in a question. Bob Connolly says, do you still like Kyler even with rain / Chicago weather? I have Kyler and Carr. I'm a bit concerned about re-injury on the weather. Thoughts? I mean, if the organization of the Arizona Cardinals, who has Super Bowl aspirations, didn't think there was a possibility that, if they thought there was a possibility that re-injury could occur, then of course they'd be as safe as possible. I think re-injury is probably out of the realm of possibility, considering he's been sidelined for the last 5 weeks. I mean, I think he was healthy 2 weeks ago. They just were precautious about it, and they're just like, yeah, let's hold him out. So I honestly don't think there's any injury per se, even though he was limited. I think it's just a matter of them giving us the thumbs up, saying we're good to go. We're firing him up. So my assumption is that we're good to go. If you'd like to play Carr, you certainly can. Based on the rankings that you can see on screen, that's where I would have Carr. It's not that big of a difference. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it, Bob. Joey sends in a question, says Mooney or Javonte. I think we talked about this earlier. I'm going Mooney there. I just feel like it's such high upside. Even in the rain, guys. Even in the rain. Where are we at? Okay. Perfect. So let's go here. I think the next question is from Joey again. Let's see here. Okay, cool. And then the next question after Joey is Chris. Chris sends the question, says, need a tight end and a flex. We have Knox, Muth, and Christian Kirk. I play Muth and Christian Kirk half PPR. Thank you very much, Chris. Stephen Talbot says, for A.J. Brown, does IR mean 3 weeks or games? It means 3 weeks. It doesn't mean 3 games. I hope he comes back for the playoffs. How do you feel about him when he comes back? I honestly don't know how to feel. I mean, their matchups aren't the worst, so they could be in a decent position. But in regards to if he comes back, he should be fine. I mean, this offense is trying to make the playoffs. So by the time he comes back, they'll probably need to pick up a couple wins there. And I think he'll be fine. As to is he going to go back to being himself? I don't know exactly the extent of what this injury is. It's like a chest injury, probably like a rib, concern. So for right now, I don't think it's a big deal. As long as it's not a knee, ankle injury, I think we're fine as soon as he comes back. Fainsky sends in a question, says, I started Zeke off, so I had a rough start this week. Might be no brain by, okay, so here comes the flex question. We have Jamar, so that's Jamar Chase, Sony, and Gronk. I have Kyler, Tyreek, JJ, Najee, Kittle left in a full PPR. If that's Jamar Chase, I would probably play Jamar Chase there. I honestly, it would go Jamar. I would consider maybe even playing Gronk over Sony Michel the way that Gronk's been playing as late. But yeah, if it's Jamar Chase, he's for sure playing in the flex there, in my opinion. Thanksky, thank you. Alejandro says, start 2 half PPR, Jamal Williams or Javonte Williams. I don't know which one. It just says Jay Williams. Pittman or David Montgomery. In a half PPR scoring format, it actually matters which Williams that is. If it's Javonte, you're playing him. If it's Jamal, do I have Jamal? I think I have Jamal higher than David Montgomery, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm bugging because I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, so either Williams, either Williams, whether it's Javonte or Jamal, I'm playing them. And I'd probably play David Montgomery as well. So those are my 2 suggestions there. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Where are we at? Okay. Denial says, do I start Javonte, Harris, or Barkley? Okay, so Javonte or Harris. We're going to play Javonte Williams. Barkley or Gibson. I play Gibson. Thank you. Let's see here. Kareem sends in a question. I'm starting Javonte Williams and Jamal Williams. Okay, great. Sounds good to me. Should I flex Saquon, Pittman, Henderson, or Waddle? My assumption is that Henderson doesn't play. But to answer your question, if it's between Saquon, Pittman, or Waddle. There's no scoring format here, so I'm going to assume it's half PPR. If it is, I'm probably playing Pittman. If it's a full PPR, I'd probably go Waddle. Thank you. Chris Chang sends in a question, says, Bourne, Burkhead, Claypool, D-Hop, half PPR. I mean, look, if D-Hop practices, he plays. And if he plays, he's at a full capacity. I don't ever see D-Hop, dress up and play at a half capacity. So if I'm picking one out of that group, I am playing DeAndre Hopkins. It's a 0.2 per carry league. Let's say, for example, Burkhead carries the ball, I don't know, he's not going to really do much. If he carries the ball 15 times, doesn't play too big of a role in that, I'm just going to play D-Hop there. Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate it. Let's hear. Joshua Wilkins says, hope I can squeeze into the playoff spot. Half PPR. Who do I flex? Ayuk, Waddle, Javonte Williams. Second question, should I drop Knox or Gesicki for Pat Freiermuth? All right, so I played Javonte there. Follow-up, Joshua. I would drop Gesicki for Pat Freiermuth, and I would start him this week. Thank you. King Prell says, 1 running back, 2 flex, Barkley, Gaskin, Jamal Williams, Knox, Kirk, or Van Jefferson. Okay, so at the 1 running back spot, I played Jamal Williams. At 2 flex spots, I'm probably going to play both running backs as well. So I played Jamal, Gaskin, and Barkley. Those are my suggestions. King Prell, thank you. Goofy Gibbon says, Devontae Freeman, Damian Harris, Kendrick Bourne, need one to bench. If I'm benching one out of the group, it's Kendrick Bourne. Thank you very much, Goofy. Appreciate it. Jacob says Elijah Moore, Kendrick Bourne, Jamar Chase, Claypool. Oh, no, sorry. It's Chase Claypool. Sorry, not Jamar Chase. Elijah Moore, Kendrick Bourne, Chase Claypool. I'm probably playing Chase Claypool I'm going to play Chase Claypool there. Mainly because Kendrick Bourne has to play against a tough secondary. Elijah Moore has to play against an even tougher secondary at times. He'd probably get number 1 coverage because Corey Davis probably doesn't play today. Or even if he plays, he's at a limited capacity. So Elijah Moore is probably pulling the coverage of Darius Slay. So Chase Claypool is my suggestion there. Thank you. Rusty Wright sends in a question, says, I'm 6-6.5 PPR. Need to win to get into the playoffs. Bateman or Parker? Javonte, J-Rob, or Montgomery. All right, so let's see here. Bateman or Parker? I play Bateman. Javonte, J-Rob, or Montgomery? I play Javonte. Okay, to drop, is it okay to drop Sutton, Bateman / Parker, or Green Bay DST I stashed to scoop up AB even if he hasn't? Okay, yep. Okay, so is it a good idea to drop one of the two? Yeah, I don't mind dropping a Parker or a Bateman or even Sutton for AB. I think by the time AB comes back, week 16? So the second round of the playoffs. At that point, you're at a pretty good spot to where he's going to start, he's going to be healthy, and they're going to be scoring a bunch of points. So yeah, I don't mind dropping either of those 3 wide receivers in exchange for him. Thank you, Rusty. Appreciate it. Let's see, Big DLY, or DYL, 23. Says, thanks for the content. Full PPR, OBJ or Mike Gesicki. I play OBJ, thank you. Chill Will says, full PPR, Gronk or Kittle, Devontae Freeman or Elijah Moore. I'd play Gronk over Kittle in a full PPR. And if you can't play Kittle in that same league in the flex, if it's Devontae Freeman or Elijah Moore, typically I would want to play Elijah Moore. But this week, if Corey Davis is not active today, I would go Freeman. If Corey Davis is active today, I would go Elijah Moore. Thank you. All right, AV sends in a question. PPR flex, Lockett, Higgins, or James Robinson. Good question. I'd probably play James Robinson there. Thank you. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay, so we did all these questions. Just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Goofy. Yep. Okay. All right, that was AV's question again. I'd play James Robinson there. William sends in a question. Says, why is ESPN projecting M. Jones at only 24 points? Who's M. Jones? Mac Jones? Marvin Jones? I'm assuming Mac Jones because nobody else speaks 24 points. Want to keep Jones for playoffs. Been starting Stafford. Been drafted. Okay, when you drafted him, but Rams playoff prospects? ? Suggestions. I don't understand the context of this question. Why is ESPN projecting M. Jones at only 24? What do you mean at only 24? I don't ever see quarterbacks projected at 24 unless you're playing in a 6-point per passing touchdown league and you're getting some other stat. Maybe it's 20 passing yards per point instead of 25, or maybe 15. So I don't know about, the ESPN projections. I don't really look at projections, to be honest. So if we're just talking about keeping Mac Jones as your backup, certainly can, but Stafford should play through the playoffs. Thank you very much, William. All right. R. Hay sent in a question, but there wasn't a message attached. Again, guys, make sure you attach your messages. So, yeah, this is going to be a problem because there's nothing in the chat. Because what happens is once 1,000 messages roll through, it updates, and everything that was prior is gone. So, R. Hay, there's nothing from you in the chat. Let's see here. Arthur sends in a question. Let's see. Arthur says, starting Mixon and Madison in a PPR. The flex is CH, Miles Sanders, or Darrell Henderson. Pivoted from Hurts to Wentz. Thoughts? Hurts to Wentz is fine because, again, we don't expect Hurts to play. As for Henderson, Miles Sanders, or CH, I don't even know if Henderson's playing, guys. I'm pretty sure he's not. Unless we get official word anytime soon. At that point, I would just play Miles Sanders just to be safe and not have to wait until the afternoon slate. So you just play unless you want to wait and play, a Kansas City running back later, you certainly can do the same. But for right now, I would just say you're better off most likely just playing Miles Sanders instead of waiting to see what the injury designation ends up being. Thank you. Appreciate it, Arthur. Second question here. Let's hear. Matthew Crawl sends in a question. Says half PPR flex, Devin Singletary or Logan Thomas. I played Logan Thomas there. Also, any word on D-Hop? He is playing today. Cliff Kingsbury made that official earlier this morning, excuse me. Our playoffs start this week. Wow, that's terrible. That is probably the worst news I've heard today. Bo Center sends in a question. Scott or Higgins? I'd play Higgins this week. Thank you. DYLY bar 4 says full PPR. Tight end Knox or Moreau? I'd play Foster and Moreau. Flex Ayuk, Renfro, Miles Sanders, Devontae Parker. I'd play Ayuk in the flex. Thank you very much. Matt says PPR Zay Jones, Khalif Raymond, Deshaun Jackson, Doyle, Juan Jennings, or Damiere Byrd. Okay, good question. Currently in my rankings, I have Deshaun Jackson as the highest ranked. Now, he's been a little bit banged up all week. If he ends up playing, I want to have him in my lineup. But if you want to just go for the safer overall play, it's most likely leaning in the direction of just picking Zay Jones and hoping he catches the ball 4 or 5 times for 40 yards, get about 8 points, 9 points. That's the hope. Otherwise, it's Deshaun Jackson. So it's one of the two Raiders. If Deshaun Jackson's active today, which what I read earlier today was that though being questionable, he is going to play today. I'd probably just roll with him as this offense just continues to air it out. Thank you. Let's see here. Goody Sons says full PPR, pick 2. D-Hop, Miles Sanders, James Robinson. If I'm picking 2 in a full PPR scoring format, D-Hop and James Robinson. Thank you. Did I miss anything going back up? No. Okay, cool. D-Hop, James Robinson. All right. Jenst says full PPR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers in a flex. We have Javonte, Montgomery, Sony, Sanders, D-Hop, Diggs, Deontay, Ayuk. All right, considering you have these options, your 2 wide receivers are Diggs and Deontay Johnson. Your 2 running backs are Javonte Williams and Sony Michel. And being able to play in a full PPR in the flex position, I'd probably go with Ayuk there. Thank you. Appreciate it, Jinst. Let's see here. Where are we at? I'm just flying through these questions. R8D Nation says, or R8 Dr. Nation says, half PPR, Devontae Parker or Jacoby Myers. I played Devontae Parker this week. Thank you. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay. So that was, okay, next question. Jason Sommers says, Cole Beasley, T.Y. Hilton, Deshaun Jackson, flex must win. Also, Kirk Cousins, Tua, Gardner Minshew. Okay, so I'm playing Kirk Cousins there for sure, without a doubt in my mind. As for the wide receiver position, there may be a little bit of doubts, mainly because T.Y. Hilton and Cole Beasley, they're back-to-back in my overall rankings. I would go T.Y. Hilton, though, this week, unless, let me see, what was the scoring format again? No mention of the scoring format. In a half PPR and a standard, I go T.Y. Hilton because, again, he has touchdown upside. In a full PPR, I'd probably go Beasley there. But again, Kirk Cousins for sure at the quarterback. Thank you, Jason. Daniel Cooley says, full PPR, Brandon Ayuk or Sony Michel? I'd probably go Brandon Ayuk there. Thank you. Aldwin Parchment says, full PPR, start Eckler, Madison, Allen, D-Hop. Flex options are Barkley, Javonte, Sony, Ayuk, Mooney, McLaurin. Holy moly. Bench performing better than the studs. I mean, they truly are. I think you're in a safe enough spot to where, okay, Keenan Allen has to play, Austin Eckler has to play, Madison has to play. You don't have to play D-Hop because you have the ability to potentially play Ayuk there. As for your flex, I mean, I might even have to play both receivers, to be honest. Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, look, okay, so if I'm playing one in the flex, considering what you have as your starting lineup, if we don't touch it, I'm playing Ayuk in the flex. He's just been too good as of late. He's been getting 85 receiving yards on a consistent basis. He'll get even more targets this week because Debo's out of the lineup. He may even run the ball even more this week. It's just it's all kind of lining up for him to have a great overall performance here. So Ayuk's probably my suggestion there. If we were to change anything and you put Mooney in for D-Hop, I wouldn't mind that. But right now I'm okay with D-Hop there. Thank you. PT Morris says CEH or Miles are neck and neck in your ranking. CEH playing with an illness, and so is Boston Scott. Need a solid 15 out of my flex this week. Who do I play? I mean, if we're playing one, it's still Miles Sanders. I'm pretty sure I have him higher ranked, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Miles Sanders is my number 19. Yeah, Clyde's 20. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to suggest what is on screen. I would play Miles there, and you're good to go. I mean, he plays against the Jets. If he's not able to get a solid 15, well, I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't able to because it is Miles Sanders, but I'm hoping that he can maybe pull something like that off for you. Let's see here. Joshua Wilkins says half PPR start one. Terry McLaurin, Waddle, Ayuk. In a half PPR, I'm playing Ayuk. Thank you. Pedro says standard start one. Pittman, Higgins, Smith, OBJ. In a standard scoring format, I'm playing Pittman. Thank you. WRM says flex, Mike Williams, Mooney, Jefferson, Judy, pick 2. If I'm picking 2 out of the 4, I'm picking Mike Williams and Mooney. Thank you very much. GSSS says pick 3, full PPR, Darnell Mooney, Jamal Williams, James Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Sony Michel. If I'm picking 3 out of this group, it would be Mooney, J-Rob, and Sony Michel. Yeah, Mooney, J-Rob, Sony Michel. Thank you very much. TJ Robinson says Boston Scott, Matt Breida, Foster Moreau, flex, full PPR. In a full PPR scoring format, man, I would love to. Oh, man. I think Foster Moreau's the play. I'm just trying to think, like, is Boston Scott a good enough prospect to where he'll get enough reps to make himself a standalone viable option if he doesn't touch the ball in the receiving game? I'm thinking probably not. Let's go Foster Moreau there. Thank you. Mark sends in a question, says Henderson decides to play. Should I go him or Sony? If Henderson decides to play, okay, well, even if it was up to him, which I don't think it is, I think it's up to the medical staff. If he does end up playing, okay, how do we go about this? If he ends up playing, do we play Sony Michel? Yeah, I would still probably play Sony Michel. And this is what I'll tell you. If, for example, this matchup gets into a scenario in which, like we all anticipate, the Rams are winning by a pretty, sizable margin in the second half, Sony Michel is going to be running the ball. There's nobody else out there. So if Sony's going to be running the ball in the second half and they're trying to, preserve the health of, Darrell Henderson, then, Sony Michel's probably going to get majority of the touches this week. So I'd play him anyway, even if Darrell Henderson's active, similar to the way that we talked about A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones last week. Thank you. J Mark says full PPR, pick 3. Mitchell, Jamal Williams, Javonte Williams, Patterson, or Michel. Mitchell is a for sure play. Javonte Williams is next up along with Cordero Patterson. So Mitchell, Patterson, Javonte, thank you very much. Let's see here. All right, I'm trying to catch up as quickly as I can. To get you guys good to go. All right, so that was J Merck's question. The next one is from Alex, I believe. Okay, Alex says, flex one, Mooney, Mike Williams, David Montgomery. I'd probably play Mooney there. I mean, I like David Montgomery, especially if it's a slower paced game, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a game in which Arizona is just pretty much charging down the field and scoring at will, and it'll be Andy Dalton trying to claw back with Mooney in the second half. So that's where I'm leaning. DYLY bar 4 says full PPR flex, Devontae Parker, Renfro, or Miles Sanders. In a full PPR, I am starting Renfro over Miles Sanders and Devontae Parker. So that's my suggestion. Again, with Waller out, he's an even better play. DeAndre Warren says full PPR, Claypool, Devonta Smith with Minshew at the quarterback position. In a full PPR scoring format, I think I'd rather have Devonta Smith. Because, again, Claypool's not going to catch the ball more than 3-4 times probably today. If he does, I mean, that's good on him. I mean, he often is just – he's not a wide variety of targets guy. He doesn't catch majority of the passes because a lot of them are 50-50 balls down the field. So, for right now, just going to go ahead, play Devonta Smith there, regardless of who's playing at quarterback today. Second question. Okay, next question. Nicole sends in a message saying A.J. Green or Kenny Golladay. I'd play Kenny Golladay. I mean, the expectation is that Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney are both out. Mike Glennon has one place to go with the ball, and it's outside to Kenny Golladay, and I think he's going to have to just throw it to him probably 8 to 10 times today. And the way that secondary has been playing, I think Kenny Golladay will be fine. Thank you. Flight Zone Music says Chenault, Boyd, Patrick, Harris, and Scott. Need one wide receiver and one flex. Okay, so I'm assuming the Harris is Damian. If it is Damian Harris, I'd play him. If it's not and it's some other Harris, then we just play Scott there at the flex. As for your wide receiver position, I mean, Chenault, Boyd, and Patrick are just they're not it. If I have to play one, I'm playing Chenault, and I'm hoping that, he figures it out. I think if the Jacksonville Jaguars in the last 2 weeks weren't able to learn how to, transition their wide receivers to running back, especially with the way that James Robinson's been a little bit banged up as of late, if they haven't learned to transition their wide receiver to running back based on the fact that they played against Cordero Patterson and Deebo Samuel in each of the last 2 weeks, I mean, they're a lost hope. But we're going to hope that they're going to go ahead and put Chenault in the backfield and get him going there. Let's see here. R. Hay says full PPR, 2 running backs and 1 flex. Who should I start? So we have Cordero Patterson, Sony Michel, Josh Jacobs, Jamal Williams, DeAndre Hopkins. Really enjoy the videos. Keep it up. Thank you. Okay, so if we're in a full PPR and we're starting 2 running backs, Cordero Patterson and Sony Michel, boom, boom, 1-2. As for your flex, it's probably, especially in a full PPR, DeAndre Hopkins. If I was to pick another one in a full PPR after D-Hop, it would be Jamal Williams and then Josh Jacobs last. That's my suggestion. Thank you very much. Hey, all right, let's see here. Where are we at? All right, Mad sends in a question. Says full PPR, 2 running backs. We have Jacobs, Barkley, Connor, Lenny, Javonte. James Conner and Leonard Fournette are the 2 priorities there. So that's the 2 that I'd play. 2 wide receivers, Ayuk, Diggs, Jefferson. I play Diggs and Jefferson. 1 flex. So if it's between Javonte and Ayuk in the flex, I'm probably playing Ayuk. Yeah, I am. I mean, I want to play Javonte, guys. I do. And I think he's a great play. But in a full PPR, that's when it gets a little bit tricky. That's when it becomes a matter of whether or not he could actually catch the ball 4 times. If he's not able to, there's limited work in that reality, and it doesn't stack up for him. His baseline, I mean, decreases ridiculously, and if he doesn't score a touchdown at that point, it's all for none. So for right now, yeah, I play Ayuk there. Boom. Jacob says Kirk Cousins or Stafford. I play Stafford there. Lucas says, how come Ertz is at 6 now and Goddard is low? Goddard was lower this week, in fact. Ertz is actually closer to where he was ranked because Schultz disappeared, so then he moved up. And then I moved Hawkinson down one. So Ertz really hasn't jumped too far. And to be honest, Ertz has been playing really well as of late. So that is why he gets that nod. As to Goddard is that low because he doesn't get too many targets from Jalen Hurts. Now with Gardner Minshew at quarterback, I think he'll get a little bit more overall work. Is he going to increase his value a ridiculous margin? But no, he's still a top 10 in my eyes, and that's why I have him there. Thank you, Luca. Dom says, pick 3, full PPR, Marvin Jones, Crowder, AJ Green, Emmanuel Sanders. Marvin Jones, Crowder, AJ Green, Emmanuel Sanders. Okay. If I'm picking 3 out of these, I'm picking Marvin Jones, AJ Green, and Emmanuel Sanders. Thank you. I'm leaving Crowder on the bench. Morph says, Montgomery or Sony? I play Sony Michel. Thank you. Assuming, of course, Darrell Henderson is out this week. Jeff Arnold says, half PPR, flex, CEH, or Renfro must win. I'd still probably play Renfro there. Thank you. Matthew says, half PPR, Sutton, Parker, Gesicki, Burkhead. If I'm picking one out of that group, I'm picking Devontae Parker. Thank you. Let's see here. Doug YP96 says, full PPR, pick 2, OBJ, Cooks, CEH. In a full PPR, do I want to sit one of these receivers for Clyde Edwards? I think I'm still playing OBJ and Cooks. Yeah, I'm going to sit CEH there. Let's see here. Calio says, Damian Harris or Elijah Moore, flex full PPR. Damn, that's a good question. I think like Damian Harris's ceiling is almost at like maybe 12, 13 points. It's not very high because he doesn't catch the ball out of this backfield. In a full PPR, when you're competing against receivers of that nature, it is going to be tough for him to, get to that level, especially when these guys are going to catch, 5 balls for 50 yards as a baseline. Everything else is just that much, over the top. I'd say you're probably going to play Elijah Moore, assuming Corey Davis plays. If Corey Davis isn't active, I just go Damian Harris. Thank you. VJ says, flex 1, T. Higgins, Jamal Williams, Brandon Cooks. If I'm flexing one, I'm playing Jamal Williams. Thank you. Let's see here. DYLY bar 4 says full PPR, James Robinson or Miles Sanders. I play James Robinson. Victor 6PD says half PPR, Barkley or Javonte Williams. I play Javonte. Perry Paul says half PPR, Miles Sanders or T. Higgins. I play Miles Sanders. Will Lane. I sat Taysom Hill this week, hoping Hurts played. Now I have to pick between Minshew, Taylor, Heineke, or Jimmy G. If I'm picking one out of the 3, I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, you're probably playing Tyler Heineke and or Jimmy Garoppolo. I'd probably just play Taylor Heineke and hope that he starts getting his legs moving a little bit more and getting some extra yardage on the ground. Minshew's great and all, but let's not forget, Jalen Hurts was limited all week. He probably practiced all week and is now only just being put in a situation where he's not going to play. So with that being the case, I think, the chances of, I have no insider information. Maybe Minshew practiced the whole week. They just told no one. But the chances of him not getting any reps this week and having very little rapport with the first team offense is pretty high. And if that's going to be the case, I don't know if it's worth starting on a 1 week, throw him out there. I know he was great last year. He looked better, his rookie year than Trevor Lawrence has looked this year. So that says a lot. But either way, I'd probably just go with Heineke. Thank you. Billington Bosman says Henderson or Jamal Williams. Again, I don't know if Henderson's going to play. Even if he does, I'd play Jamal Williams. Billington Bosman, another question, says pivot from Josh Allen, ? Nah, look, if you've got a stud quarterback like that, I'm not pivoting from them. I'm going head first. Dom sends out a question, says PPR, Christian Kirk, Van Jefferson, Devontae Parker, Elijah Moore, pick 2. Christian Kirk is the first suggestion. If in fact we're in a world in which somehow, some way, actually, yeah, we're going to probably play Van Jefferson second there. So let's go Christian Kirk, Van Jefferson. Thank you. Michael Bell, NYK, says 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, have to bench 1, full PPR. We have Jamar Chase, Michael Pittman, Darnell Mooney, Brandon Ayuk, Hunter Renfrow. Wow. I don't like the idea of, we're in a full PPR, right? Jamar Chase has to play Michael Pittman. I mean, where do I think I have Michael Pittman a little bit lower in a full PPR. Let me confirm this. Michael Pittman is, yeah, okay. Damn. I don't like it, but probably have to do it. All right, so this is what we're going to do. So in this regard, we have to play Jamar Chase. Got to play Brandon Ayuk. Got to play Hunter Renfrow. And then you probably play Michael Pittman. I'm going to change my mind on something. So for those... Okay, what does this say? Okay, yeah, cool. So I'm going to change my mind on something. Earlier, multiple people asked me, would I play Darnell Mooney or Javonte Williams full PPR? Give me Javonte Williams. Yeah, I'd rather have Javonte Williams. It's close enough to where I could see a full PPR receiver of that nature catching him. But for right now, I think the safer play is probably Javonte. And that's where we'll probably go right now. So I am going back, but hey, that's how it works. Just want to reiterate that right now. Let's see here. Is there any new reports coming out? Okay. Dude, this light is so damn bright. It is killing me. Okay. So yeah, for right now, Michael again, Chase, Pittman, Ayuk, Hunter Renfrow. Thank you. Alrighty. So next question after Michael was Billington Bosman says, also, would you rather play David Montgomery or Jamal Williams PPR? I'd play Jamal Williams. Thank you. Michael sends in a question. There wasn't a message attached. Let's see. Okay. Michael says, full PPR Van Jefferson or Devontae Freeman? Good question. The way that the Pittsburgh Steelers have played in terms of stopping the run, it has been non-existent. I think there's a pretty good chance that Van Jefferson gets, a good amount of work today. But is there a guarantee that he scores a touchdown? No. I played Devontae Freeman there. Thank you. Alrighty, let's see here. JG1 says full PPR. Who do I flex? Matt Ryan, DeAndre Hopkins, Sony Michel. Wait, I'm sorry. Is this a super flex? Okay. My eye is so dry. I can't even see out of it at this point. I'm going blind. If I'm playing a super flex league, I am playing Matt Ryan. As much as I like Sony Michel and D-Hop, I'm still playing Matt Ryan, even against Tampa Bay. Because he somehow, some way will find a way to score like 2 touchdowns. He will. Garbage time, sure, but he'll score touchdowns. So I would play the quarterback there. Vincent says, half PPR pick 1 for the flex, Rex Burkhead or Josh Reynolds. I'm not confident in either. I think I'd probably just go Rex Burkhead because after Josh Reynolds caught his touchdown, he disappeared for the rest of that game last Thursday. So I probably just play Rex and hope he falls into the end zone. Let's see here. Hakima says, Saquon or CEH, full PPR, RB1. I play Saquon. Thank you. Michael sends in another question. Says, full PPR, Van Jeff. Oh, yeah, this was the same question. Sorry. It just wasn't attached the first time. You said it the second time. So, yeah, I would play Devontae Freeman there. Someone's asking, will CEH play? Yeah, the anticipation, Emmanuel, is that he would play today, or he will play today, despite the illness. Gucci Han, Louis Han says, full PPR flex T. Higgins or Devontae Freeman. Probably going to go T. Higgins there. Yeah. I think it's just a better receiver option. It's enough to, yeah. Let's go T. Higgins there. Yeah. It's close, but I'll lean with the Cincinnati receiver. So let's see here. D-Boy Furious 7 says Michael Pittman Jr. or DeAndre Hopkins, full PPR. Look, so in your question, right, you put Michael Pitt GOAT or D-Hop in a quote-unquote limited game, full PPR flex. Okay, if you believe he's going to be in a limited game, then you already know the answer. If you think DeAndre Hopkins is not going to play, which I don't know, he may be limited. I have no clue how this team wants to use DeAndre Hopkins. They may use him for every single play. He may never even touch the field. He may dress and never touch the field. We don't know. It seems that you want to play Michael Pittman. If you want to, by all means do it. Because if you think there's a possibility that DeAndre Hopkins is limited, then you should avoid it. I personally am starting DeAndre Hopkins in my leagues. Full speed ahead, no problem. But if you want to go ahead and pivot, because you have another great option to fill there, D-Boy. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see here. The next question comes in from Corey. Sickler says, need a flex, half PPR, pick one. Jamal Williams, David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, Jalen Waddle. Thank you, my dude. No problem. All right. In a half PPR, if I'm picking one out of this group, it's between Jamal Williams and David Montgomery. I think I'm probably just going to play Jamal Williams. If it was a full PPR, it'd be a different conversation with potentially Waddle taking the spot there. But I'd go Jamal Williams over the rest of the gang right now, Corey. Thank you. Chris says, pick one, half PPR. Kirk, Djax, Beasley, Hilton, or Gage. Christian Kirk is my suggestion there, first and foremost. And the second option would be T.Y. Hilton, and then Beasley, and then Gage, and then Djax. So again, Christian Kirk, Hilton, Beasley, Djax. We get it. It's Christian Kirk. Thank you. Javi Goat says, which two wide receivers do I use this week? DeAndre Hopkins, Claypool, or Mike Williams? I'd probably go with DeAndre Hopkins for sure. As for Claypool and Mike Williams, we got ourselves a little bit of a toss-up there. Mike Williams is pretty much what he's been the last 6 weeks, which is unreliable. Same thing with Claypool. But if I have to predict one of them actually scoring this week, I think the higher possibility is probably on the side of Claypool. Because Baltimore's defense stops the run really well. And it'll force Big Ben to have to throw for probably the entirety of that game. And if that's going to be the case, Claypool's probably going to get a good amount of work there. Thank you. Phil sends in a question. Says 3 wide receivers, 2 in the slot. Okay, 1 flag. Okay, cool. So full PPR, pick between Kupp, Renfro, Judy, Emmanuel Sanders, Bateman, and Sutton. Okay, so Kupp and Renfro, like Phil, are automatic plays there. So as of the 3 other options, if it's Judy, Emmanuel Sanders, and Bateman, I would play Judy there. Thank you. Kyler Murray is active. Thank you. Yep, we know. Okay, good to go. Derek Just says full PPR, Goddard or Ertz? I'd play. Honestly, I would go with Zach Ertz. If you want to play Goddard because of the Minshew effect, by all means, go ahead and run with it. I don't have a problem with that. But for right now, yeah, I'm good with going with Zach Ertz. Thank you. Steve Alvarez says, hey, Andrew, full PPR, bonus points in this league for 100 yards, 40 or 50 plus touchdown, 40 to 50 yard touchdowns. Looking for a floor, Miles Sanders or DK Metcalf this week? I play Miles Sanders. Thank you. Let's see here. Young Money, Jesus, says, because of the rain in Chicago, full PPR, Mooney, Devontae Freeman, I'd still play Mooney there, or Mike Williams. I'd still play Mooney. Look, the weather is probably going to be a factor, potentially in the second half, but I have seen countless times teams are able to throw the ball in Chicago in weather games, and there's no problem at all. Now, majority of a lot of Mooney's work comes close to the line of scrimmage, though he does make a lot of big plays. This is a guy that is going to go on screen passes. He's going to be handed the ball out of the backfield. They're going to get him involved regardless of where this, the weather kind of tilts the game in the direction of. So not too worried about him in that regard. Let's see here. JG1 says Henderson out. Sony over D-Hop, full PPR. Yes, I would play Sony over D-Hop. Damn, do I want to put? Yeah, I would. Because, let's just do it. Yeah, let's do it. Because D-Hop, there is a prime sketchiness to him. So for right now, let's just go with the safety of Sony right now. Hey, Andrew, I see your rankings. We have Stafford or, 4 point per passing touchdown. I need a dub this week. I'm worried about the weather for Kyler. Yeah, if you want to play Stafford, by all means, play Stafford. He plays against, the Jaguars. Should be a pretty one-sided affair there. He honestly, so the only reason he is lower is because when Kyler Murray plays, there's always the potential of him running with, the legs and getting himself like 40 to 60 rushing yards. There's always the potential of that, right? So that kind of potential baseline increases his overall value. So if I think Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford are going to have similar yardage counts, similar touchdown counts, that's the biggest determining factor, right? But yeah, if you think that there's going to be a potential in which the weather does hold back Kyler, then play Stafford, because I think their passing work in terms of yardage and touchdowns are going to be similar enough to where the only difference is a couple points based on rushing ability and or turnovers. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Stephen Drakes, welcome back, says, Faith, okay, here we go. So he says, Faith, I'd Mike Boone or AP. I'm going to play AP. I mean, Mike Boone is okay option, you know. He's the third string running back for the Denver Broncos. He could get some work, but I don't think he's going to. I think it's going to be all Javonte today. I play Adrian Peterson because this team desperately needs a running back to help them, and I think that's where they're going to go in the direction of this week. JD says, one wide receiver, one flex. We have Javonte, Deontay Keenan, David Montgomery, Sony Michel, PPR. If we are playing in a full PPR scoring format and we're going one wide receiver, one flex, I am probably playing Deontay Johnson and Keenan Allen. I'm probably playing both of them because I think they're both 15 points easily. No questions asked. And I just rather just cash in on those points. Thank you, JD. Jinku says, I was giving up Fournette for Damian Harris plus Waddle. Bad trade, question mark. Was giving up Fournette for Damian Harris and Jalen Waddle a bad trade? I think it was. I mean, it's not like you're not going to be able to recover technically. I need a wide receiver. I have Najee and Zeke. Yeah, Zeke is pretty much dead in the water. So Fournette would have been. Getting Waddle is not bad. Who do you have at wide receiver? So we have Crowder, Renfro. Oh, sorry, no. Okay, so if we're having to start one, oh wow, okay. So if you're having to start a wide receiver off of the waivers, then you must be dealing with like a bye week or something of that exchange. Maybe you have, I don't know, like Jarvis and Devontae Adams and I don't know, AJ Brown, something like that maybe screwed you over. But yeah, I mean, I don't love the trade. I'll tell you that much. That being said, if we have to play a player off of the waiver, which is Crowder, Rondell Moore, Tyler Boyd, or Darius Slayton, I think I'm going to play Darius Slayton there. Thank you. Let's hear. Anthrock18 says, Jacobs or Pittman, half PPR. Love the content. Keep it up. I'm going to half PPR. Play Josh Jacobs. Thank you. Jeffrey Ricklin says, pick 2, full PPR, AJ Green, Bateman, Gage. Gage and Bateman. Those are my 2 suggestions this week. Thank you, Jeffrey. Jacob Garcia says, pick 2 in a full PPR, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, Elijah Moore, or AJ Green. Out of that group, it's T. Higgins and Devonta Smith. Thank you. All right. So, just want to remind everybody. So, we're on the same page. Everything on the left side of the screen. I know I haven't reiterated this. Want to catch up on every question. It's already 9 o'clock, so just wanted to get through all those. Everything on the left side of the screen is updated rankings in a half PPR scoring format. You may be wondering, Andrew, is there a huge difference in comparison to a full PPR? Sure there is, right? Like Jamal Williams at running back, in my opinion, in a full PPR, is my number 14 running back. He is above Josh Jacobs. Just throwing it out there, right? There are differences, but there's only so much real estate, and there's only so much room in which I can make this text small until no one can read it, and you'd have to like literally pull out a magnifying glass and pull it up. But either way, just giving you some context there. Everything to the left side, half PPR, updated rankings. The full PPR rankings only really matters when guys are at insane numbers in terms of total receptions. At wide receiver, it does help for guys like Renfro, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, slot wide receivers that are catching the ball 8 to 10 times a game. But outside of that, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. As for running back, it certainly makes a difference when you have a running back that is getting a lot of work in the PPR game, which Jamal Williams should this week. And of course, we know that Josh Jacobs was limited this week in terms of his health. Maybe Kenyon Drake gets a couple catches here and there and kind of siphons it. That's why in a full PPR we would go in that direction. Either way, just reminding you of all that. Also, be sure to click the like button down below. Certainly does help out the channel. Also, if you haven't yet already, check out Underdog Fantasy. If you use promo code Andrew today, Underdog Fantasy is willing to match up to $100 of your first deposit. Again, You can go ahead and draft a team for today's overall contest. Got myself a couple good teams there. A lot of shares of Antonio Gibson and Elijah Mitchell this week, and Alexander Madison. I'm getting them cheap, so we're just hoping for the best there. All right. I know I typically do this, and before someone has to send in a donation in order to get the answer out of me, I'm just going to tell you guys. Every week, people ask me, what are my top defenses of the week? So let's go over that, and let's go from top to bottom. We're going to go top 12 defenses. I thought about putting it on screen today, but it was already too late. I was about to start the stream, so I was like, all right, you know what? We'll mention this. Okay, so top 12 defenses this week. Everybody ready? All right, here we go. From 1 through 12, I'm not going to tell you the number. I'm just going to go top to bottom. Here we go. My number one defense in the week starts with Miami, goes to Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Los Angeles Rams, Indianapolis Colts, Patriots, Bills, Cardinals, Vikings, Ravens, 49ers, Steelers. Okay? We're going to run it one more time just so we're all on the same page. Top 12 defenses, starting with Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Bucks, LA Rams, Indianapolis Colts, New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills, Arizona Cardinals, Minnesota Vikings, Baltimore Ravens, San Francisco 49ers, and Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are my top 12, okay? In that order, that's how I play them. If you play in a crazy league in which you get points for return yardage, stuff like that, disregard those rankings because it completely is different in those kind of leagues. So just making that all on the same page. Cool? Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Couple questions were sent in. All right. Chris sends in a question, says, happy Sunday, full PPR. Flex Damian Harris or Van Jefferson. I'm going with Thielen and Cooks at my wide receiver spots. Thanks in advance, man. No problem. I appreciate that. All right. So if we're going to play between Damian Harris and Van Jefferson, Van Jefferson hasn't been consistent enough this year for me to feel confident about it, especially with Odell Beckham playing today. I'm going to probably just go with Damian Harris there because I think Van Jefferson very easily can get himself like 3 catches for 70 yards very easily, right? He can get 10 points, but I think Damian Harris is capable of also getting to that range, scoring a touchdown, imposing their will. And I mean, I think that's how the Patriots are going to have to win this game is by running the rock. And I think Damian Harris will be, of course, leading the charge as he has done in weeks past. Nick Stano says, still Ertz over Hawkinson with the rain, ? Also, Lockett, Devonta Smith without Hurts, or Boston Scott, pick one in the flex. Okay, so let's talk about the flex. If we're picking one out of that group, it's probably Tyler Lockett. So I don't think I feel better about Boston Scott with Miles Sanders still there. Devonta Smith could be better, but I mean, is he going to be significantly better? Probably not. I mean, I'd hope he would be, but I don't think it's an automatic, like, immediate jump. So at this point, I'd probably just play Lockett there. As for Ertz and Hawkinson, I could go either way. To be totally honest, I can go either way. In my current flex rankings, they are back-to-back for a reason. Because I see them to have very similar value. They're pretty much the same. They give if neither of them score, they're both terrible plays. If they both score touchdowns, they're great. If they're only working off of yardage, again, like I mentioned, they're gonna get 5-6 points in fantasy. They need touchdowns. So I'm just looking for touchdown upside. That's purely all I'm looking for. And I think Arizona has the highest likelihood of getting down there. Of course, they have James Conner as a vulture, but Ertz can certainly get the job done. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. Bobby sends in a question. Says, why is Hilton so high, full PPR? Hilton, Gage, or Slayton? Why is Hilton so high? Healthy, better offense, and it's a half PPR ranking. In a full PPR ranking, if it's between Gage and Hilton, I mean, I'm pretty sure, where do I have Gage in my full PPR? In my full PPR, I have Gage at 38. Now, you're wondering, okay, Andrew, why is Gage at 38? Well, mainly because, though he's been great as of late, there's no guarantee that he does anything. Gage is such a wish-washy wide receiver, it hurts. So I think, okay, well, the better matchup is in T.Y. Hilton's favor. On top of it, he's got a pretty good, track record against Houston. I'd rather just take the track record than gamble on the potential of Matt Ryan doing what he's supposed to do, because he typically doesn't. So for right now, I am suggesting Hilton. If you'd like to play Gage, by all means, not that bad of a play. He's not that much farther down. in that range at wide receiver. Thank you. Mr. Vo saying, huge fan from Taiwan. That's awesome. Thank you very much for watching. That's fantastic. You guys got to watch the NFL over there. That's great. Let's see here. Chris says Chase, Jamal. Okay, so he says Chase, Jay Williams, Evans, Montgomery, Waddle, start 3. I don't know what Jay Williams it is. I'm going to assume it's Javonte. We'll play Jace. I'm thinking League of Legends. Jamar Chase, Javonte Williams, Mike Evans. Those are my 3 suggestions. Thank you. Steven Hairston says Gaskin or Sony Michel, full PPR. I'd play Sony Michel. Thank you. All right. Let's hop into this chat here and let's answer some questions, shall we? Boom. DK or Mooney? Honestly, I think I'd probably just rather play Mooney. I love DK Metcalf. Don't get me wrong. I do. It's so hard to play him. Javonte Williams or Sony Michel? Feed Tigers. Again, like I mentioned, guys, everything on screen is up-to-date rankings. So Javonte Williams is currently 1 slot ranked higher than Sony Michel. So a lot of the questions can be answered on screen. Just like 3 up, 3 down, 10 sends in a question, or not sends in, but he just types in the chat, says Gesicki or Foster Moreau. That is answered on screen, guys. So you don't have to hear me say it. Everything that is currently on screen is my opinion. So if you like to go ahead and follow that, it's there. You don't have to really wonder. It is on screen ready for you. Just like somebody else asked, Andrews, Moreau, or Goddard in a full PPR. Yes, we have half PPR on screen, but I'm still playing Andrews because it is Mark Andrews. Like, what are we talking about, right? All right, let's see here. A couple more questions. Pick low. Okay. If I'm picking between a Logan Thomas or a Russell Gage in a half PPR, I'd rather just play Logan Thomas and hope he scores a touchdown. Chicago Bears fan. Grace says Sony Michel or Van Jefferson full PPR, assuming Henderson is active. Even if Henderson's active, I'd probably still play Sony Michel. But I don't think he is, right? I'm pretty sure somebody said he was inactive today. Unless there's no confirmation. Let's go see here. Let's go see what Mr. Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter have to say about Darrell Henderson. All right, let's see. Any news regarding the man, the myth? Okay, so Darrell Henderson's considered a game time decision. All right, so yeah, here's my thought process. I'm thinking, like I mentioned earlier, if we get into a scenario where he does still play, Sony's probably the better overall play because the second half is going to be riddled with rushing attempts for the Los Angeles Rams. And there's a very good possibility in which it's very similar to last week where Aaron Jones, yes, he was active, but had a limited capacity because they're trying to keep that running back healthy for the future. So I think I'd still play Sony there over Van Jefferson, even in a full PPR. Let's see here. Pitts or Moreau full PPR? I'd play Pitts. Yeah, I'd play Pitts. I mean, I think Moreau is a great play this week, but Pitts probably has a better... I mean, the matchup is similar. I just think that he's got to get more work, and I think the team knows that, so may go in his direction a little bit more this week. Godwin or Michelle? Standard league, I'd still play Godwin. Do I play Renfrow over or Hopkins? That's a great question, Bruce. I don't mind playing him over Hopkins, but only in a full PPR. If you're worried about him potentially being limited, that's the only reason I'd ever do it. Where does Corey Davis rank in a half PPR? Way too low for you to want to start him, trust me. Where would Javonte be rest of season if Melvin Gordon was out? Javonte Williams would be a top 12 running back rest of season. Based on schedule, talent, and opportunity, he would be top 12 very easily. Maybe better, to be honest. Maybe better. Perhaps we've only cracked some of the surface shell of what we can potentially see from Javonte. Again, he's a rookie. He hasn't had a game in which he's touching the ball 25 times. If we get to that point today, and he completely takes over, then that would be crazy. Let's see here. All right, couple questions sent in. Kicks for Mike says, where's the quote? Mahomes or Lamar? I have Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and wide receiver Deontay so I would just play Mahomes. Let's go full in on the KC project, because if you got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey, let's just go for the trifecta and let's hope for the best there against Denver. As for your question, between wide receiver Deontay Johnson or DK Metcalf and flex Mitchell or Javonte Williams, all in a standard. Keep up the great videos. Thank you very much. All right, so wide receiver Deontay or DK Metcalf. If it's in a standard scoring format, I think there could be an argument for DK Metcalf, mainly because he has that touchdown upside. I'd love for him to score, and I'd love for him to be great. I think I'm still playing Deontay. I think the yardage is good enough to where he could probably get 80 yards. If he scores a touchdown, I mean, he's not extremely likely, but he's got a good inside track of doing so. So I'd play Deontay there, just off of the safety of avoiding Russell Wilson right now. Even though Ben Roethlisberger isn't, that much. I mean, he's far worse probably at this point. Flex Mitchell or Javonte. I played Elijah Mitchell this week. That's my suggestion. Thank you very much. Kicks for Mike. Oh, and he has Kelsey. Okay. You have Reek, he has Kelsey. I mean, at this point, I think I'm still fine just matching it. Just throw in the Lamar. I mean, throw in the Mahomes and let's just run with it. Like, here's the thing about Lamar. Lamar has to run for 100 yards and a touchdown today to get that kind of a top 2 ranking. He does. And I think he will because Pittsburgh's in trouble. But I think if you've got the ability to just roll Patrick Mahomes while having Lamar on roster, I'm okay with just going with that option there. But either way, I mean, at this point with some of these quarterbacks, some of these differentials, it's legitimately splitting hairs. HFL 5864 says Tevin Coleman or Marvin Jones Jr. I'm probably playing. Oh man, if it's a standard or a half PPR, considering you haven't mentioned a scoring format, the heck was that? It sounded like an earthquake. I'd probably go Tevin Coleman there. Yeah, that's my suggestion. Tevin Coleman. Regular veteran says full PPR. We have pick a wide receiver 3 and a flex. AJ Green, Kenny Golladay, Kendrick Bourne. AJ Green, Kenny Golladay, Kendrick Bourne. All right. So my wide receiver 3 would be Kendrick Bourne, and my flex would be Kenny Golladay. I'm running the Bills defense, flex David Montgomery or Zach Ertz, or choose one of those wide receivers. I'd flex David Montgomery. Thank you very much, regular veteran. Let's see. All right, kicks for Mike. Also says tight end Ertz, Moreau, Goddard, or Thomas. As you can see on screen, I am very confident with going Ertz. If you'd like to pivot to a Moreau, Goddard, Thomas, by all means. The ranked as such on screen. Give you an idea as to where I would go with them. Steven says Devonta Smith or Miles Sanders. I'd probably play just Miles Sanders there. Yeah, I'd go. Oh, okay. So you sent in another message that says correction, Devonta Smith, Miles Sanders, full PPR. Aha. Now this is where the conversation begins to develop into something greater. I think with Gardner Minshew, Devonta Smith can very easily catch the ball 6 times, minimum 60 yards, get 12 points, and be perfectly fine there. And probably maybe even better than Miles Sanders this week. So in a full PPR, yeah, let's go ahead and let's take the wide receiver there. Let's see here. JT sends in a question and says, and I quote, what are your thoughts on Ridley? Do you keep him in the IR spot or drop him? Full PPR. I'm slim at wide receiver and have other options. I can move to the IR. My anticipation is that we've gone so far without Ridley that he's probably not returning anytime soon. I've heard nothing in regards to reports of him coming back. So my thought process is probably, hey, he's probably not coming back. And they're going to give him the year off, and we'll see where we could pick it up next year. But for right now, yeah, I don't think he plays. So if you've got a better option at IR, go for it. Thank you very much, JT. All right, so we got to Steven's correction. And then next question that was sent in was Nate Wong. Says CH or Van Jefferson, full PPR. CH is questionable. Yeah, he's dealing with an illness. If he's playing, I mean, look, here's my concern. My concern would be like his illness makes him a limited player, and they get Darrell Williams, going, and that could be a problem. And that I mean, it is concerning, but I think I'm still going to play CEH. I think he'll be fine. As you can tell, the sigh is because I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know how these teams, I don't know, like when there's injuries or like questionable natures or illnesses, I have no idea where to go because the player might feel like absolute trash and they just like, I can't even get out of bed. I feel terrible. But guess what? I'm suiting up tonight. And we don't know that. And it makes it so much harder to predict these kind of things. But yeah, I mean, when we're talking about, the number 3 wide receiver on a team in comparison to a starting running back, I'd rather just have the starting running back. All right, let's see here. Airs8 says, thoughts on Gardner Minshew today? Whew, really? Are we getting to that point, guys? I mean, listen, if you had Jalen Hurts in your lineup and we get 100% confirmation that he is not playing today, which I don't think, let's see here. ESPN Adam Schefter reports Gardner Minshew will start. Okay, so that's done. If, in fact, you are playing Gardner Minshew, I'm okay with it. In my current rankings, Gardner Minshew is number 19 at quarterback. Is that terrible? No. Is that the best? No. I mean, he's middle of the pack. He could probably be better than middle of the pack, but he could also be a lot worse. Luckily, he plays against the Jets, so hopefully he doesn't get exposed. But for right now, I don't hate it. If you have no other options that you can see on screen available, then yeah, you play Gardner, you're good to go. Tamir K says pick 2, Javonte Williams, Jamal Williams, Jalen Waddle. If we're playing in a half PPR scoring format, considering you didn't mention a format, I'd probably play both the running backs. If it's a full PPR, you go Javonte and Waddle. Thank you. How come no one is talking about Boone? Because Boone... Okay, here's the problem about Mike Boone. Mike Boone is not that good. Okay, first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. All right, I don't know why everyone is assuming Mike Boone is the next coming. Even in games where he filled in when Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison were out, he's had bum performances. Okay, so let's get this first and foremost stated. Okay, he's not the most talented running back of all time. Now we're assuming he's going to get touches mainly because this team has run a two-headed monster for the last couple weeks. That's only because they have to run a two-headed monster. I'm pretty sure this team would rather just be like, all right, Melvin Gordon, thank you for your services, like they're going to do next year, and just let Javonte take the backfield. There's a reason why they spent such a high draft pick on him. So I'm not worried about Boone. There's a reason why no one's talking about him is because no one needs to worry about a third-string running back coming in and taking RB2, or being the RB2 of his team and taking away touches from a guy like Javonte. If I was to worry about that, then I'd be more worried about Kenyon Drake today than I am Mike Boone taking touches, Problem Bless says, need tight end and flex, Pitts, Knox, Moreau, Elijah Moore, Devontae Parker, Jerry Jeudy, Kendrick Bourne is an available free agent. Okay. Tight end and a flex. I play Pitts at tight end, and I'm playing... Do I want to... Yeah, I think I'm going to play Jeudy at flex there. Yeah, thank you, Problem. Appreciate it. Is there a question here? Okay. All right, Sidhu says, Andrew, please help. I need a pick 3. DeAndre Hopkins, Ayuk, Waddle, J-Rob, Hollywood Brown, half PPR. Need a pick. Okay, need a win to make the playoffs. Okay, great. So if we're picking 3 out of this group of players, D-Hop, Ayuk, Waddle, J-Rob, or Hollywood Brown in a half PPR. Okay. In a half PPR scoring format, I'm playing James Robinson, Brandon Ayuk. Oh, man, I kind of want to play 4 of these guys. I don't want to play Waddle. J-Rob is probably in line for decent game. Do I want to play Hollywood Brown over J-Rob? Probably not. Okay, so I would actually, let me check something real quick. Yeah, okay, so let's do this. Let's go Hollywood Brown. I do, actually. Let's go Hollywood Brown, Ayuk, and Diop. Let's play those 3. Thank you very much, Sidhu. Hector Martinez says, would you start Elijah Moore over Mike Williams? No. Mr. Martinez, I would be playing Mike Williams over Elijah Moore this week. Thank you. Landon Ramirez says, can Jefferson, Elijah Moore, Kyle Pitts, Dawson Knox, one tight end, one flex. Okay, Kyle Pitts takes the tight end position. Jefferson takes the flex position. Thank you very much, Ramirez. Let's see here. Alex says, okay, this is Alex Snodgrass Real Estate says, standard, D-Hop or Boston Scott? In a standard scoring format, what are the chances of D-Hop scoring? Oh, man. Are we at that point, huh? Worried about D-Hop's limited snap count and the weather. Lost Waller and grabbed Logan Thomas. Thank you for the, Andrew. Happy holidays. Thank you very much. Happy holidays to you as well. Are we guaranteed that he's quote-unquote limited? Like, I know that's being thrown around, but, like, where are we getting this from? Like, are we just assuming he's limited? Because the last report I'm reading, right, which was, what is this? Yesterday? No, this is this morning. Yeah, this is this morning. Kyler Murray. Okay, the Cardinals rather absurdly claimed that both would be game-time decisions after it had been clear all week that they would finally suit up. The first game since Week 8. While we have no questions about Murray's health, there have been reports that Hopkins could be something of a snap count. There we go. It's a little hard to believe coming out of the Cardinals' bye, but perhaps we can only see 60 to 70% of the player. That is still enough for the wide receiver to, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this was NBC Sports Edge. Posted, I would say, what is this, an hour ago? Maybe more? Yeah, just about like an hour ago from right now. All right, so let's do this, shall we? Let's say, for example, DeAndre Hopkins limited, 60, 70%. I'm going to go adjust my rankings right now, and I'm going to adjust the rankings on screen so we can, deal with that scenario. Because if he legitimately is going to be quote-unquote limited, I don't want to play him. I don't want to play 60, 70% of DeAndre Hopkins. Because 60, 70% of DeAndre Hopkins isn't 100% of Mooney. Isn't 100% of Pittman. Isn't 100% of Hollywood Brown, So let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and adjust this real quick. And for those of you who sent in questions regarding D-Hop, I'm going to go up and I'll scroll back up there and see if I missed anything. And I'll come back down and kind of like re-answer those questions. All right, so this is what we're going to do. If we're getting 60, 70% of D-Hop, let's do this, okay? So let's paste this graphic here. And let's file, save as, copy. Photoshop. It's a hell of a drug. Honestly, it's incredible. All right, Photoshop, hurry up. Thank you. Save to computer, desktop, JPEG, save as. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. So, as you can see on screen, we've adjusted DeAndre Hopkins' ranking. All right. D-Hop now sits where he sits. You can see it on screen, right? We're all on the same page. He's now moved down to 19. Okay. I'd play all those other receivers over him. So, for right now, if you're playing in a standard league, Alex, play Boston Scott because the rushing yards are going to be there. I'm going to go ahead and answer all the other questions that were just sent in, and then I'm going to go back to the top of the list, see if any questions were regarding D-Hop, and then we'll come back down, okay? All right, Bodie Derby says, Wentz or Russ, half PPR, I have to win today. I'm playing Wentz, thank you. Troy Arce says, Michael Williams, Lockett, Bourne, Scott, Coleman, flex, half PPR. I'm playing Lockett, thank you. Ali UFC, 4-ranked KO says, help, pick 2, flex. Okay, we have half PPR. Thanks again. Okay, no problem. Devonta Smith, Rashad Bateman, Boston Scott, Christian Kirk, AJ Green. All right, so if we're picking 2 out of that group, it's Devonta Smith and it's Christian Kirk, in my opinion. As to follow up, you have Murray or Carson Wentz. I'm playing Murray. Thank you. Vladimir says Brady or Mahomes. I'm playing Brady. In the last 2 games that he has played against Atlanta, he has scored 9 touchdowns. 49ers defense or Rams defense. I have the Rams higher than the 49ers this week. Thank you. Mike, Carnival says Mike Williams. Sorry, Jesus Moses. Elijah Moore or J-Rob. I play J-Rob. Thank you. Grant Darby says Pitts or Breida, half PPR. Injuries are killing me. I play Pitts. Thank you. LOR3 Rex says Miles Sanders, McLaurin, Pittman, Michelle. 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. I would play McLaurin, Pittman, and Michelle. Thank you. Craig Newman says Bills or Pats defense. I have the Pats defense a little bit higher. Victor R says 2 PPR. What is this? K Jefferson? Who's K Jefferson? You mean Van Jefferson, right? I'm going to assume you meant Van Jefferson. Gainwell, Boone, Bolden, Mike Davis, P. Ryan. I'm assuming you mean Van Jefferson. Oh, no. You mean Jermar Jefferson. That's what you mean. You mean the backup for Jamal Williams. I think that's what you're referring to. Yeah, I'd play Jefferson there. Thank you. Actually, no. If we're playing in a PPR and we're picking two, I'm playing Brandon Bolden first and foremost, then Jefferson. Thank you. Who cares? 973 says Pittman or Sony Michel flex full PPR. In a full PPR, I'd rather play Sony Michel. Thank you. Vic84 says GM Andy full PPR D-Hop or T Higgins. Start Pat in a full PPR. Just give me T Higgins. In a half, it's different, but in a full, I'll just give me T Higgins at that point. Start Patriots D ? Yeah, play that. I mean, you're good to go there. Sid sends in a question, says, I have Zeke. Am I in trouble? Yes. Based on what we've seen as of late, we are definitely in trouble if we have Zeke. Adam Davis says Javonte Williams, Javonte Williams, Sony Michel, DeAndre Hopkins. I played Javonte Williams there. Thank you. Francis Cooley says super deep desperation flex. Devontae Parker, Foster Moreau, Josh Reynolds, Ramondre Stevenson, half PPR. If I'm starting one out of this group, I think I have the most faith in Foster Moreau. Thank you. Josh Helmuth says full PPR, Devontae Parker over CEH, ? No, I'd play CEH over Devontae Parker. Dropped Ernest or Parker. I have Pittman, Wentz, or Carr with okay. Devontae Parker over CEH. In a full PP. Okay, never mind. Yeah, even in a full PPR, but we're going to play CEH there. Drop Ernest or Parker. I mean, you want to drop Ernest Johnson. You don't need him. I have Pittman, Wentz, or Carr. I mean, if we're going to start Wentz or Carr, it's probably just playing Derek Carr this week. I don't think the stack matters in that regard, though. So I just play Derek Carr and Pittman, and you're good to go there. Joel says full PPR, Deontay Johnson or Gibson. I would play Antonio Gibson there. Thank you. J.D. McKissick's out, so the fact that he got 7 receptions last week may just continue on this week. The Nova says, do you have confidence in starting Michel over Barkley? Yeah, I do. Mainly because Miami's been the best run defense in the last 8 weeks, or not even last 8 weeks. I'd say last 5 weeks, last 6 weeks almost. Miami's been the best run defense. They haven't given up a single touchdown to a running back in that span of time. On top of the fact that the Miami Dolphins, their defense has looked significantly better in the last 4 weeks as they've won 4 consecutive games. And they take on Mike Glennon. With Mike Glennon at quarterback for the New York Giants and with Sterling Shepard out and Kadarius Toney, I think there's a potential where this team is just stacking the box. They're saying, Mike Glennon, try to beat us with your arm. And they're just going to pick him apart. That's my assumption. So that's why I'm worried about Saquon. He's certainly going to get a lot of touches on the ground and through the air, so his opportunity is going to be there. But unless he breaks out a huge run, it's going to be tough for him to outshine Sony Michel in that regard. Poner Kills All Trolls says standard Kenny Golladay or Jerry Jeudy. In a standard league, I'd rather play Kenny Golladay. Troy says, should I drop Saints and pick up Green Bay for rest of season? Yes, that's a good idea. Your Mom 1669 says Adrian Peterson or debate Parker full PPR. I think you meant Devontae and it auto-corrected to debate. Devontae Parker over Adrian Peterson in a full PPR. Thank you. Greg Z123 sends in a donation. There isn't a question attached to it. Let's see if there's anything you sent in earlier, Greg. Says, help, wide receiver, PPR, Jeudy or Parker. I'd play Jeudy. As for Ertz or Foster, I'd play Ertz. Thank you. DJ Meat Missile, Jesus, what a name, says, and I quote, best defense to hold for the playoffs. That's a question for another week. I don't want to really get into that because that is has nothing to do with right now and trying to figure out everyone's lineups for the next 30 minutes. We'll talk about, okay, DJ, this is what I'll do. I'll write down a note. I'm going to write it down in my phone, okay? I'll talk about that on tomorrow's waiver wire episode, okay? And I'll specifically make an effort to talk about waiver wire, defenses for the playoffs. So let me go ahead and Waiver wire defense weeks 15 through 17. Okay, done. Thank you very much, DJ. But yeah, for right now, is there any question? Okay, I have the Packers and Colts, Dallas 49. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that, and I'll specifically answer your question tomorrow during the episode when we get to the defensive section. Okay, so for right now, we'll pass that on to later. Appreciate the donation, but yeah, right now I gotta deal with everything week 13 related. Derek says PPR, pick a flex, Knox, Damian Harris, or Parker or Beasley. In a full PPR scoring format, do I want to play Beasley over Harris? That's the question at this point. I want to. I don't know if I have enough confidence to do so, though. I'm going to play Damian Harris there. Thank you. Let's see here. We have Andrew Pacina sending in a question. Hawkinson or Pat Freiermuth? I play Pat. Thank you. Greg Z123 says Judy, Bourne, or Parker, Ertz or Foster. We play Ertz over Foster and play Judy over the rest of the gang at wide receiver. Actually, is it full PPR, right? Yeah. In a full PPR, I'd rather play Judy than Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne's a better half PPR standard play. Thank you. Abhishek V says Lockett or Miles Sanders half PPR. I'd play Miles Sanders there. Thank you. Okay. And then the Citizen says Hopkins on a pitch count or Mooney. B Van says full PPR. Do you still have Boston Scott or Breida? In a full PPR, I'd rather have Breida. Thank you. All right, let's do this. Okay, so let me go to the top of these questions. I know we got about 30 minutes here. Again, everything on screen is up to date. I updated the DeAndre Hopkins ranking earlier. I'm going to go back to the very top of the donations that were sent in. And if anything is in regards to D-Hop, I will re-answer it right now, okay? So I'm just going to kind of scroll through, see if any questions had D-Hop in it. You know what I'll do? Actually, I'll just... Yeah, so let's do this. Okay, here we go. Just going to have to read through everything one time for the one time. Okay, nothing there. Okay, that makes... Okay, so we answered that. Okay. Oh my God, it seems like nobody asked about D-Hop. I could have swore I answered D-Hop questions. Maybe I'm mistaken. Let's do this. Let's function search D-Hop in this overall thing. Okay, a couple D-Hop questions here. Was T. Higgins or D-Hop? Yeah, I mean, we talked about T. Higgins there. Javonte, Michelle, or D-Hop. We played Javonte there. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, here are the D-Hop questions. Now I found them. Okay, so Nicholas was asking if we're worried. So yeah, we're worried. Chris Chang said Bourne, Burkhead, Claypool, or D-Hop. Initially, I said D-Hop. I'm still sticking with that. And I'm still sticking with Claypool. So yeah, never mind. We're still with that. Moving on, we gotta scroll. D-Hop, Miles Sanders, or James Robinson. At this point, I play Miles Sanders and James Robinson over him. And then the next question was 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers in a flex. This was from Jenst earlier. So then at this point, if we're not playing D-Hop, we're gonna play Deontay Johnson and Diggs at wide receiver, and then we're gonna have Ayuk at the flex, Javonte at running back, along with Michelle. Yeah, okay, we're good to go there. Scrolling. Let's see here. Okay, so JG1 sent in a question earlier. Yeah, we picked Matt Ryan there as your super flex. The guy who was asking about Michael Pitt, GOAT. Yeah, you play him over D-Hop. Sonny Michelle over D-Hop. Yes, you take that JG1. Okay. Anybody else was asking about D-Hop earlier? We got to Alex's question, which then prompted everything else following that. Okay, good. We're caught up. All right. Let's see here. A couple more questions were sent in. Cameron Wells says, half PPR, Elijah Moore or Rex Burkhead with David Johnson out. Do I want to play Rex Burkhead? Sure. I mean, in this position, is it the greatest? No. Like, it is concerning because if Rex Burkhead isn't cashing the ball out of the backfield today, we're in trouble. But I'm hoping he's going to, mainly because there is no more Phillip Lindsay and there is no David Johnson. So he will be getting PPR work. We've seen him be relevant in years past at that position. I'm just thinking, like, with Corey Davis active, I don't want to play Corey Davis in fantasy right now. But is he better than Elijah Moore? Is Rex Burkhead better than Elijah Moore? I'd say let's just go Elijah Moore there. Yeah, I think Elijah Moore probably is just a safer play. Let's see here. All right, Nick sends in a question, says, full PPR, choose two. David Montgomery, Javonte Williams, Mike Williams, T. Higgins. If I'm picking two out of that group of four, I'm playing both the running backs. I'd play Javonte Williams and David Montgomery. Bardia says, Kyle Pitts or Brandon Cooks in the flex? Wow, good question. Brandon Cooks, thank you. Joey Zeltzer says, Michelle or Parker, should I take the risk with the game time decision? Good question. If in fact honestly, I would take the risk. I take the risk personally. You may be less, you might be more risk averse than I am, but personally, I think I just roll with Michelle. Josh Helmuth says, for defense, Pats, Bills, or Dolphins. 49ers as well. I play Dolphins. For HC, Bills, or Vikings? What do you mean HC? Head coach? I don't understand what that means. What the heck is HC? Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Ricardo Torres says J-Rob, Sony, Sanders, pick two. Okay. If we're picking two out of that group, it's J-Rob and Sony. As for your defense, Bills, Vikings, I'd play the Bills. As for Folk or Greg Joseph, I would play Folk. Thank you. Okay. Really quickly. Reminder. There's about how many of you in here? Let's see. 800 of you in here. I want to first and foremost thank you for coming out, supporting the channel with your viewership every single day. Coming out this morning, trying to get your lineup set in the next 22 minutes. A reminder, everything on screen is up to date. The most recent update that we made about 20 minutes ago was moving DeAndre Hopkins down on the list, a pretty significant margin because he was quote unquote a game time decision, which was, according to the report I read, considered a potential in which he could be limited. If that's going to be the case, so be it. If anything, that makes Christian Kirk a better play, along with AJ Green, James Conner, Zach Ertz. The less he plays, the less of a possibility that he is stealing targets from those respective prospects. But I still think he could be a great overall play because they wouldn't play him unless they knew he was ready to go. With that said, got a couple more questions being sent in. If you've got questions regarding singular individual positions, the rankings on the left will take care of it. If you're wondering if you should play Matt Breida or Clyde Edwards, it's on screen. If you're wondering if you should play Foster Moreau or Noah Fant, that's on screen. All that kind of stuff can be answered. Hopefully it helps. Thank you. Let's see here. So Ricardo says, okay, so we answered Ricardo Torres' question. Nicole's says in a question, says D-Hop or Devonta Smith? Scared of Chicago. Yeah, play Devonta Smith. It's not a big deal. I mean, look, again, the only reason you would ever play D-Hop is just to hope that his talent and his opportunity is just more superior. That's it. And if we're worried about it, then let's just play Devonta Smith. I mean, I don't think it's at the position where, like, I could legitimately, I feel so wish-washy about D-Hop to the point where I don't even care if I play him because I don't know what D-Hop will even get. Like, we might get one where the Arizona Cardinals win by 30 points and it's all James Conner rushing touchdowns and D-Hop does nothing, right? Like, even if he plays and plays at a full capacity, like, You never know. That's the thing about fantasy. So, Devonta Smith has, just as much potential opportunity in terms of targets. Maybe he's able to have himself a better performance. So I don't mind that. Let's see here. Okay, Mikhail says, half PPR flex, J-Rob, Gronk, Pittman, CH. I played J-Rob there. Thank you. Greg Z123 says, Jacobs or Sanders? I played Jacobs, Rams or Patriots. I have the Rams higher than the Patriots this week in rankings on defense. Sleazy says, Elijah Moore or Ramondre Stevenson. I play Elijah Moore there. Scott or Stevenson. I played Scott there. Thank you. Abhishek V says, do I drop one to pick up Miles Sanders? LOL. Lockett at flex. Bench Michael Carter. AB, Knox, Pollard, Derrick Henry. Yes, I would probably, depending on who your tight end is, actually scratch that. Just drop AB. Look, there's no guarantee that you get to the playoff round in which AB even comes back. I'd rather just drop AB right now, considering he's suspended for the next 3 games and doesn't fill into an IR spot. Drop AB, pick up Miles Sanders. That's my suggestion there, Abhishek. Thank you. Devin, your assumption is correct. I am expecting Darrell Henderson to sit and not play today. Mainly because I don't think they need him to play. So that's the main priority as to why I currently have Sonny Michel on screen. To answer your question, Devin. So someone in the chat was asking, Gibson, Renfro, or T. Higgins. My goodness, if you're not playing Gibson, especially with J.D. McKissic out, coming off of 36 touches last week, sheesh. I mean, what are we doing, right? We got to play Gibby there. Let's see here. Miles Sanders or Clyde Edwards. Edwin, like I was saying on screen, rankings are there. I'd play Miles Sanders over Clyde. Thank you. Thielen or OBJ in the flex. Like I was saying, Young Sully, rankings on screen. I have Thielen higher than OBJ. What do you think about Josh Allen today against New England? I'm hoping that we see a better performance than, 1 touchdown and, 200 yards. I'm just anything that is of the reality in which he can get 17 plus fantasy points, I'm going to be happy with. So I'm looking for those kind of numbers. I'm not expecting 30 points, but I'm not also expecting him to get completely dumped on. That'd be crazy. Let's see here. Joe Mace says, Claypool, Boston Scott, Devonta Freeman. I play Freeman there. Thank you. Let's see here. AS says, what is AS's question? Why is Javonte Williams higher than Miles Sanders? Won't the Eagles almost strictly be running with Gardner playing? I think, so the hope is that they would. The only reason that Miles Sanders is lower on my list is because he's injured. Like, he left last week's game preemptively because of the injury that he sustained. So there's always the potential that re-aggravation, something that, he was limited all week in practice, right? So that's my concern. That's why I'd rather play Javonte. In terms of also opportunity as a whole, Miles Sanders doesn't get targets out of the backfield. Maybe with Gardner at quarterback, the check down Andy's going to come back and he's just going to start dumping it off. I don't know exactly what we're going to anticipate there. But I think Javonte Williams, in terms of opportunity, is just significantly higher. And if we're going to go off of matchup, sure, Miles Sanders has it in the bag against the easiest matchup in the game. But when he has to split snaps with Boston Scott, and then there's a potential where the running game stalls out potentially and they have to throw the ball, he doesn't get the work there, and that is why Javonte Williams takes the cake in that 1v1. Ryan Kilpatrick says, start 3. Najee Harris, Elijah Mitchell, Javonte Williams, Alexander Madison. If I'm starting 3 out of that group, it is Najee, Mitchell, and Madison. Thank you very much. Michael Amato says, hey, Andy, I have to start Breida. This is because of my buys. Do you think he has a decent floor of 8 or 9 points without a touchdown, or is he strictly touchdown dependent? I think he is strictly touchdown dependent. I think in a full PPR, if they want to start throwing it a bunch and checking it down, my only concern is that Devin Singletary is still active, right? So I think he is touchdown dependent, and that's why he's kind of ranked in that position, because he's going to get enough yardage to be relevant, but not 8 or 9 yards. I think that's a stretch. I don't know if he can get 80 yards maybe he's able to get himself like 60 yards and then catch the ball 4 times and get himself to that range. But okay, are we back? Come on, internet, please. Let me see if my internet even works here. No, it doesn't work. Oh, okay. We're able to open up a browser. Can I get a bunch of thumbs up in the chat if I'm still live? That's all I need to see. Can we get some thumbs up? You're back? Okay, cool. All right, that's all I needed to hear. It works, dude. My internet was out. Like out. Like I even got so I use OBS, which is Open Broadcasting System. That's how I stream. It literally fat notification disconnected. It's like, all right, my internet's dead. And then I saw my my kilobits per second, and it was at legitimate 0 red boxed. Anyway, all right, you guys can see me. Great, appreciate it. Man, we have an army of thumbs up there. Oh, okay, great. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Okay, so Higgins, Smith, Lockett. Higgins and Lockett are my suggestion. In a full PPR, actually, you could probably get away with playing Smith and Higgins because Lockett is probably not going to catch the ball a bunch. So Smith and Higgins, full PPR. Ron S. says Barkley or Devonta Smith PPR. I'd probably go Barkley there. As for Cooks and Damian Harris in a half PPR, I'd play Damian Harris there. So Barkley, Damian Harris. Fresh Prince 1986 says Adrian Peterson or Claypool. A half PPR, I would play Claypool there. Stephen Drake says flex Chenault, Mike Boone, Collins, AP half PPR. In a half PPR scoring format out of that group of players, I'm playing Adrian Peterson because, at this point, let's hope he can fall into the end zone. Rockout says flex to Judy, Kirk, Bateman, Breida, full PPR. Christian Kirk and Jerry Judy are my suggestions there. Lawrence Wong says Brandon Cooks, Boston Scott, Bateman, or Freiermuth in the flex. I'm going to say Brandon Cooks is the best overall play there. Second best is Pat Freiermuth. Thank you. Alexander Drucker says flex full PPR. Regular position full PPR. Tevin Coleman or Ramondre Stevenson. I play Tevin Coleman there. Different league standard. Pick 2 Ayuk, Waddle, Mooney, Rex Burkhead. If we're playing in a standard format, I play Ayuk and Mooney. Another league, half PPR, Fant or Laviska Shenault, I'd play Fant. TC says half PPR flex Montgomery or Metcalf. In a half PPR, I'd go Montgomery. Jay says Jamal or Mike Williams flex. Half PPR, I play Jamal Williams. Alexander says PPR start 3 Patterson, Najee Harris, Gibson, Madison. I would play Gibson, Madison, and in a full PPR, probably Patterson over Najee. Sin City Raiders says need a wide receiver 2 and an RB2 and a flex. Standard D-Hop, Sony, Jacobs, Ayuk. I play Ayuk at wide receiver, Sony at running back, and Jacobs at the flex. Thank you. C. Young says Boston Scott or Cortland Sutton. I'd play Boston Scott. C. Young with another question says Higbee or Hunter Henry. I play Hunter Henry there. Boston Scott or Sutton at the flex. Yeah, we're going to still do Boston Scott there. Kelton says Pittman, Hawkinson, Logan Thomas, start 2. I'm going to play Pittman and Hawkinson. Carlos says full PPR Tevin Coleman or Boston Scott. I play Boston Scott. Thank you. Woo. We have to catch up there. Dash or underscore says Darnell Mooney or Miles Sanders. Half PPR flex. I love Darnell Mooney a lot. Probably an unhealthy amount, but in a half PPR, you could probably just play Sanders and get away with it. We just got to hope that Boston Scott doesn't mess this up. What does this say? Hopkins, new report, not out for warm-ups. Like he's not warming up, what you mean, right? Let's see here. Let's see if I can find the report on Twitter. Okay, so just wanted to... Okay, so my internet had dipped on me for a couple seconds there. So we had answered all those. We caught up on that. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's go find the report. Okay, so we're looking for DeAndre Hopkins. All right, latest. Let's see here. Jay Glazer said that Fox pregame that DeAndre Hopkins is a full go today. This was posted 18 seconds ago. So what are we doing? DeAndre Hopkins is active, so I don't know what to tell you guys. Looks like he's gonna play. Yeah. Sleeper report. I mean, I didn't get a sleeper report, and I got the phone right next to me. Let's see here. Okay. All right, any more questions got sent in? All right, Jay says, Jamal Williams, Darnell Mooney, Elijah Moore. If I'm picking between one of those, I'm playing Jamal Williams. Thank you. Yeah, they could very easily use him as a decoy, Nate. I mean, look, okay, so the last time this season that DeAndre Hopkins was limited, right, at a legitimate capacity was week 3. I think they played against Jacksonville or something of that nature, and they legitimately did not use him at all. He legit was just a decoy out there. Could very easily be the same this week. He just goes out there and is just running routes just to make sure that his ankle is healthy, just to give him warm-ups. Like, literally, that's all it's going to be, potentially, but we'll see. Trevor John says Javonte Williams or Darrell Henderson. Javonte, thank you. Orlando says Lockett or Waddle, flex half PPR. Waddle, thank you. Bad weather conditions. Also, yeah, I mean, look, the bad weather conditions can certainly play a part in the entire conversation for sure. Let's see here. Okay, want to check a couple things really quickly before we move on. All right, great, perfect. Okay. Avdil Luma sends in a question, says Minshew helps Devonta Smith more than Jalen Hurts. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sounds good. Corey Olson says Logan Thomas or blank. There was nothing after Logan Thomas. I don't know if Avdil, if that was a question or just a statement. I'll take it as a statement. We'll just, I guess, figure that out. Corey Olson, I'm waiting for the next option that you're going to mention. No questions? Got it. Sounds good. Donovan Nichols says Mooney or Cooks. I'd play Mooney. Thank you. Van Jefferson or Mike Williams. I'd play Mike Williams there. Miles Sanders or Terry McLaurin. I probably, in a half PPR, play Miles Sanders. Goddard or Gesicki, I'd play Goddard there. Moreau or Goddard, I'd play Moreau. Actually, do I have Moreau higher than Goddard? I don't even actually know. I don't think I do. No, I do by one, barely. Let's see here. Ayuk, Waddle. Seattle has only allowed one touchdown to wide receiver since week 5. Highest yardage is 78. Yeah, so here's the thing, John. I'm anticipating the 49ers to use Ayuk the same way that they used Debo, just like they did last year. You go back to 2020, there were multiple games in which this guy's getting handed off the ball and he's going 30 yards out of the backfield, right? So there's a potential where they just say, hey, our number one wide receiver is used in this manner, and Ayuk has the tools to fill into that position and just seamlessly transition into being the Ayuk or the Debo Samuel for this offense. So that's why I have him where I do. By all means, if you want to play Waddle, go for it. I don't have a problem with that. My God, I don't know what happened. Okay, let's see here. I think I lost my voice. I don't know how, but just like real quick, it vanished. Okay, so Rockout says Vikings or Bengals defense. I'd play Vikings. Orlando says I meant Lockett or Elijah Moore. What did I answer with the first time? Oh, you said, okay, got it. I'd play Lockett over Elijah Moore. David Ramos says point per carry, Tua, Tyrod Taylor, or Gardner. Ooh, good question. I don't think Tyrod runs it that many times to where it qualifies him as a better play than Tua. So I just play Tua there, David. Drop AB for handcuff? Yeah, I would. Corey Olson sends another question to fix. Okay, so Corey Olson says Parker, Thomas, Drake, Ty Johnson, flex full PPR. I play Devontae Parker. Thank you. Engine says Boston Scott or Adrian Peterson. Boston Scott's my suggestion, just like it says on screen. Cameron says Elijah Moore, Beckham, DeAndre Hopkins, full PPR. Oh, DeAndre Hopkins is scaring me, guys. I think we might actually get to a game in which DeAndre Hopkins is unplayable. Cameron, let's just play Beckham. And let's hope for the best that OBJ balls out. Itty Bitty South City 605 says McLaurin, Bateman, Moore, Breida, pick 2. I'm playing McLaurin and I'm playing Moore. Thank you. Mike Williams says Michelle or Hopkins. I play Michelle. Worried about waiting till 4 p.m. Yeah, but I'm also worried about D-Hop not being himself. That's what I'm worried about. They just use him as a distraction. Watch. The 1 week I'm worried about D-Hop, the guy comes out, scores 3 touchdowns, and just puts it in my face, huh? Nah, I doubt it. Is Henderson playing WTF? No word of it. The last thing that I heard, quote unquote, is that they are not optimistic that he's going to play. Anthony sends it a question. Says Mooney or Ayuk, Ty Johnson or Burkhead. I play Burkhead over Ty Johnson and Ayuk over Mooney. Romans says Joe Burrow or Russell Wilson. I'd rather play Joe Burrow. Jake St. Paul says no PPR. Higgins, Boston Scott, or Freeman. I'd play Freeman. That's basically that. All right. Somebody sent in a question, but there wasn't a message attached, right? Jake St. Paul? Okay, yeah, he sent it. Okay, cool. All righty. All right, guys, again, everything on screen is up-to-date rankings. Do with it as you will. DeAndre Hopkins scares the living shit out of me, mainly because I don't know what the heck we're going to see out of him specifically. Because if Kyler Murray's a quarterback, you can't be a half-ass quarterback. You could certainly be a half-ass limited wide receiver, which is definitely something that is it's creeping into the back of my mind right now as of being something that maybe I want to avoid this week and just figure it out next week. Which just it doesn't sit well at this point. But yeah. Yeah, no, look, the weather is not that bad. I mean, maybe right now it is, but based on the report that I read earlier, the forecast, it was like a 20% chance of raining in the first quarter and somewhere closer to like 40 to 50% in like the fourth. So the weather is progressively going to get worse as the day goes by. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Brandon Cook's ready to go today. I know he was limited, Jason, but I'm assuming that he's ready to go. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's see here. James Robinson or Sony Michelle. I'd play Michelle. But again, you can wait until the afternoon and decide that because it's an afternoon game. Do you think Josh Jacobs is playing today? Yeah, Richard, they did say that he's going to play. As to what capacity, I'm assuming hopefully a full one. Thanks, Andrew. Greetings from Costa Rica. Thank you very much, Miguel. Appreciate that. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, guys. All right. Mike Williams or Saquon? I mean, at this point, I'm playing Saquon. They're Zeke. Sanders, CH, Jacobs. It's just like the way it says on screen. That's what I would roll with, Seth. Mike Williams or Sony Michelle? For sure, Sony Michelle. All right, everybody. I appreciate you guys helping, sending questions, asking questions, giving other people advice in the chat. I do appreciate your guys' participation here. This was our Week 13 live stream. I appreciate you guys. Again, there's a lot of questions to be answered. We'll see how it all kind of goes about tomorrow. Have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Sunday. And tomorrow we'll talk about some waiver pickups for Week 14, the final regular season week of the fantasy football season. Until then, I'm signing off. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.